بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to continue with our lesson in the book of Umdatul Salik by Al-Imam Ibn Naqib Al-Masri. And we pray that Allah bless this lesson, make it a reason where our sins are forgiven, our prayers are answered. May Allah protect us from all difficulties, trials and tribulations in dunya and akhirah. Ameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen. So we are still in the chapter of Hajj, the chapter of menses. And in our last lesson, we have come into the part where the author mentioned وَالصُّفْرَةُ وَالْقُدْرَةُ حَيْضٌ. The author mentioned that the yellowish and also al-qudra. Al-qudra basically, it is the color of the soil. So it is more towards the brownish, light and brown. So the author mentioned that in the Mu'tamad, the accepted position in the Mazhab Imam Shafi'i, the color yellow and yellow blood, and also brownish or mixed with grayish, which is light, it is considered to be menses. Why is the reason the author mentioned this? Because there are differences amongst the fuqaha. Amongst the scholars, there are differences with regard to whether yellowish at the end of menses, light yellow, is it considered to be menses or not menses? So in the Mu'tamad, based on Qawl al-Asah, maybe you can write this down. Based on the stronger opinion, that it is considered to be menses. So in the Mazhab Imam Shafi'i, all any discharge is regarded to be any menses. But there is a strong opinion, which is the contrary opinion, that says that yellow and this grayish is not considered to be menses. So the benefit of this difference is that this opinion can be used for women who are in need of it. Women who are in need, especially when doing the tawaf in Hajj, for example. So there is an opinion that says that yellowish is not considered to be, considered to be menses. For example, a woman saw red blood for 7 days or 8 days, and then there is slight yellowish at the end. So the Mu'tamad position is what we mentioned, that it is menses. But the contrary position, which is a strong opinion also, that says that it is not considered to be menses. So there are basically differences amongst the scholars. So that is why the author specifically mentioned these two colors here, because of the difference. Last week also we spoke about if a woman saw blood for 3 days, and then the blood stopped for 2 days, and then she saw again for 4 days, and then the blood stopped for 3 days, and then she saw blood for another 2 days. So we mentioned that as long as it is within 15 days, we regard all of it as menses, including the clean days in between. In between. This will be mentioned by the author after this, and inshallah ta'ala I will give any examples again. Then the author mentioned wa in ra'at waqtan daman wa waqtan naqa'an. This is exactly what we spoke about. A woman saw blood at a specific period, wa naqa'an, purity at a specific period, wa waqtan daman, and blood at a specific period, wa hakada, like this. Wa lam yujawizil khamsata ashara. This is where I mentioned earlier that it doesn't exceed 15 days. It is within 15 days. Sometimes there is blood, sometimes there is no blood. Sometimes there is blood, sometimes there is no blood. Within 15 days. Walam yanqus majmu'u dima'i an yawmin wa laylatin. And if you combine this the blood, it is more than 24 hours. So for example, the first day she saw blood for 5 hours. And then the blood stopped for 2 days. On the 4th day, she saw another 5 hours. Every 2 days, the blood stopped. Then come back for 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours. Yani, if you say that the blood that comes back, if you were to combine that is within these 15 days, if you were to combine them, it reaches 24 hours, then we say all of it is menses. But if the blood is less than 24 hours, that is not menses, that is damul fasad. That is damul fasad. Yani blood that is not considered to be any menses. فالدماء والنقاء المتخلل كلها حيض. Then he mentioned that the blood and the purity in between everything is considered to be menses. So let me show it. So examples, inshallah, will make it clear. Okay, so 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have this 15 days. 15 days. So let's say a woman saw blood 5 hours first day, 10 hours on the 4th day. So meaning the 2nd and 3rd there is no blood. And then she saw another 5 hours on the 7th day. And then on the 30th day, she saw another 5 hours. These hours, huh? So 1st day, 4th day, 7th day, and 30th day. If you to combine 5 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5, you will get 24 hours. 25. So this is more than the minimum menses, that is 24 hours. So the author is saying all this is considered to be hayd, all this. So from the 1st all the way to the 13th. Some people might be asking, what about the 2nd day and 3rd day, the 5th day, 6th day? This are pure, right? No blood. In between there is no blood. Is this considered to be menses? Yes. As long as it is within 15 days. This is the maximum days of menses. So we consider the 1st to the 13th all the way is considered to be menses, including the clean days, including 2, 3, 4, 5, all this. So in fact, in our madhab Imam Shafi'i, we call it qawlus sahb. Qawl as-sahb. This is the terminology. Sahab any meaning pull. Yani we pull the clean days. These are the clean days, right? Yani we pull the clean days to the menses. So this is the meaning in sahab. And this is the mu'tamad in our madhab. Mu'tamad in our madhab is qawlu sahab. So even though she say, but I didn't see any blood, and on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, she fasted, and for example, she thought that the menses stopped. Yani since after the 4th day, she saw only 15 days. So she bathed the obligatory bath and she fasts on the 5th, on the 6th, on the 7th, on the 8th. On the 9th on the 7th and 8th, the blood came back. So now any it turns out any that the fifth any and the sixth any is carries any the ruling of menses. The fasting any is not valid. So she has to make up for the fasting again. Because this any carries any the ruling any of what? Carries the ruling any of fasting. Tamam? Type. Just now when we mentioned that anything that is oh no. How is it? Oh, that one, okay. Eraser. Can I on top? Oh, this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, now, just now earlier, and we mentioned if the blood any is less any than the blood any is less any than 24 hours. So, for example, a woman any saw any the first day 5 hours blood, fourth day 10 hours, and the blood any stop. Is this considered to be menses? For our revision. So now any we count. We add 5 hours to 10 hours. We get 15 hours. 15 hours is less than 24 hours. So now it turns out that this is not menses. This is not menses. This is called in Arabic and we call it damul fasad. This is called dam al fasad. Yani normal blood or yani we can say normal blood. Just like any other person bleeding from his body part. It's not compulsory any for her to bathe. What is compulsory any is just any to wash it off. But is this any considered to be menses? This is not considered to be menses. So this what any he meant when he said that it must be at least 24 hours. So this in between is what we mentioned based on Qawlu Sahb. Qawlu Sahb yani this is considered any to be menses, any the pure days. Okay, now we go back any 10 hours, let's say. There is any another any opinion that is called Qawl al-Laqt. Al-Laqti. Qawl al-Laqt. So we have Sahb, we have any al-Laqt. What is any the meaning of Laqt? So al-Laqt any is the opposite. And the reason any I'm saying this any because a lot of women any ask any about this. So it is important that we know, especially in Hajj and Umrah. Always yani this is any a popular question. So we have any to study this even though these are differences. But it is important for us any to know. There is another opinion any that says that now the first day 5 hours, 5 hours, fourth day 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours. So now when we say this is menses, correct? Not based on Qawlu Sahab, from the first all the way any to the 11. This considered to be menses, no issue. So we say that even the clean days 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. All of this is menses, correct or not? Based on Qawlu Sahab. Because we pull the clean days to the menses days. But there is another opinion that says Qawl al-Laqt. What is the meaning of Qawl al-Laqt? It says that as long as there is no blood, there is no menses. So now, day number 2, day number 3. Woman, for example, the first day she saw 5 hours of blood. After 5 hours, the blood and it stopped. She bathed the obligatory bath. On the second day, there is no blood. So she performed the prayers. She fasts in the month of Ramadan. She is doing Umrah, for example. She does the tawaf. Or she's doing the Hajj. She does the tawaf of Hajj. Third day, no blood. Same thing. And she continue the prayers with a fasting, for example. If she's doing any Umrah, doing the tawaf. Likewise, in the Hajj. On the fourth day, the blood came back. So now the blood came back. This is menses. This is menses. So she stopped any praying, she stopped any entering the masjid, stopped any doing the tawaf. Then after 10 hours, the blood then stopped. She bathed the obligatory bath. On the 5th day, she continued the prayers. She continued anyway, fasting and so on and so forth. So this is what any meant. So the number any of menses any is just the number where the blood any is present. Clear, inshallah? This is an opinion, but this is not the mu'tamad in the madhab. The mu'tamad in the madhab, but it can be used any for emergency cases. So for example, any a woman any wants to do the Umrah. Now I give you any situation that a lot of people any ask any about this. So we can help any people. Now any a woman any is doing any do Umrah. So nowadays any people do Umrah, they follow a package, they follow a group. Sometimes they follow a group. Even maybe nowadays many people do not do it any on their own. But regardless, yani. So now when a person goes into Umrah, there is a specific time that she will spend in Mecca. So she planned, and for example, she's going to spend 5 days in Mecca, 5 days in Medina, for example. When she reached in Mecca, she got menses. When she reached in Mecca, she got menses. And normally her menses, for example, 10 days. The menses continue for 10 days. If you were to tell her for example, wait after 10 days, based on Qawlu Sahb, meaning from the first day she reached Mecca all the way to the 10th day, for example, she cannot enter the masjid and she cannot do the tawaf. Cannot enter the masjid and cannot do tawaf. And she needs to be back, for example. She got no time. There will be difficulty. Or she might be left by the group. She's following a group tour. So in this situation, can she follow the opinion of Laqt? Laqt earlier we mentioned that as long as there is no blood, she bathe the obligatory bath and she do the tawaf. Clear, inshallah? Now she is in the state of ihram. Correct? No? She reaches in Makkah, she is in the state of ihram. At the same time, she has menses. Once the blood stop for example. For example, she reaches in Makkah, we go back into our chart here. She reached in Makkah on the first day, and for the first 5 hours, there is blood. And the blood stop. The blood stop. So now she wants to do the tawaf. So what she needs to do, she bathed the obligatory bath and she do the tawaf. And the blood came back on the 4th day. So she already did the tawaf within the clean days. So this based on Qawlu Laqt. We say the tawaf is valid. So now she takes the opinion, the contrary opinion in our madhab. Is this permissible? Yes, this is permissible. In this way, we can help any people. So that is why it is important for us to understand this. Otherwise, we can make things difficult. Otherwise, miskin, this woman will be sitting in Makkah and waiting all the way for maybe more than 10 days until the blood is stopped. And with regard to Hajj also, with regard to Hajj, that days are limited. And her group is going to Medina, or the group is going to take a flight already, going back to Singapore or to any other place. And she's still stuck with her menses. So what can be done is take this opinion. The opinion of Laqt. But it is important for us to differentiate what is called mu'tamad and not mu'tamad. But if a woman, for example, in Singapore or in Yemen, she cannot follow the contrary opinion if there is no reason. So always we go back to the prevailing judgment in madhab the qawl and mu'tamad, that is the qawl of Sahb. The qawl of Sahb is the opinion that says that even the clean days are considered to be menses. So if a woman, if any woman, any from your family members, asking you about menses, you cannot tell them qawlu laqt straight away. You have to bring forth the mu'tamad in the position of madhab. Otherwise, you confuse people. But it is important also to understand differences in this issue. If there is a difficulty, then we can follow opinions. So I hope it is clear, inshallah. Now we go back into the text. So the author he mentioned wa in ra'at waqtan daman wa waqtan naqa'an wa waqtan daman. This is exactly what I mentioned earlier. Some days he saw blood, then no blood, then blood, then no blood. Walam yujawiz 15. And this does not exceed 15 days. Very important, huh? All this is within any 15 days. Walam yanqus majmu'ud dima an yawmin wa layla. And the number yani of hours in your blood any that came out does is not less than 24 hours. It is more than 24 hours. فالدماء والنقاء المتخلل كلها حيض. So the author yani mentioned the days that she saw blood and the days where there is no blood. All of it is considered to be menses. Then the author mentioned wa aqallu nifas lahda. Now the author is going to speak about an-nifas. An-nifas in the Arabic language, it means giving birth. Al-wilada. Nifas in the Arabic language it can mean wilada, yani giving birth. In the terminology and in fiqh, it is ad-damu alladhi yakhruju ba'da al-wilada. The blood that comes out after giving birth. So now we have the blood that comes out before giving birth. This can be damul fasad. This can be hayd. And Mazhab Imam Shafi'i, because we say that a woman who is pregnant can have menses. In the Mazhab Imam Shafi'i, so there is a possibility if the blood comes out before delivery, there is a possibility it is menses. There is a possibility it is damul fasad. It depends on as what we mentioned, the number of hours and so on. The blood that comes out while the child comes out from the womb, this is called dam at-talq. There is this terminology that says dam at-talq. Dam at-talq is the blood that comes out together with the infant. Together with the infant. Upon any delivery, this is talq. This is not nifas. So what is nifas? Nifas is the blood that comes out after delivery. So this is the meaning of nifas. So here the author mentioned al-aqal, the minimum nifas is lahda, a moment. There are women for example they give birth, after they give birth, the blood comes out for a moment. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. Has it occurred? Yes, it has occurred. It is mentioned that Sana Fatima radiallahu anha, the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she gave birth to her children, and the nifas is a moment. It is said that she gave birth during the time of Zuhr. Then she performed the obligatory bath, and Asr she performed the prayers of Asr. This is Sayyidatina Fatima Zahra. So some women they are like that. So the minimum he said wa aqallu nifas lahdatun wa ghalibuhu 40 yawman. In most cases it is about 40 days. Based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu also, there is a negation that normally nifas for women is 40 days. Wa ghalibuhu 40 yawman. In most cases it is 40 days. Wa aksaruhu 60 yawman. And the most number of nifas is 60 days. فَإِنْ جَاوَزَهُ فَمُسْتَحَاضَةٌ. Anything that is more than 60 days is considered to be mustahada. Mustahada. Which inshallah we will speak about after this. But first we need to understand about nifas. So now I will give an example again. We go back to our okay. Two, 7, 10. 6 times 7. 8. So, for example, any woman has nifas. So she saw blood from the beginning of delivery all the way until 10 days. All the way until 10 days. So 10 she saw blood. So if this after delivery we say this nifas, this is not hayd. This is any nifas. So this blood is considered to be nifas. It stopped after 10 days the blood stopped. Then the blood came back. As long as the blood came back in less than 15 days, which is the minimum number of purity. Remember 15 days. As long as the blood came back in less than 50 days, 15 days, it is still considered to be nifas. So now, for example, we count for 14 days. The blood came back after 14 days. Meaning now, the blood stopped at 10 days, correct? No? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. On the 24th, on the 25th, the blood came back. So in between how many days? 14 days, no blood. 14 days clean. Then the blood came back. For example, all the way until day 30. She saw blood. So now 14, 11, 12, 13, all the way until 24. This is clean. But because it is 14 days, less than 15 days, the minimum number of purity in between the blood it must be 15 days. But if it's less than 15 days, we say this is all of this is nifas. So we say everything is nifas. The whole month is considered to be nifas, even though including the clean days. Again, this is qawl Sahb. Clear, inshallah? This is based on qawl Sahb. So if she fasts during the clean days, she has to make up for her fasting. If she perform any of the prayers, now it's clear that the prayers is not valid. Because we take the ruling of nifas. Even though during the clean days. So this is the first example. The second example. Now she saw blood for example for 10 days. Tamam? After 10 days the blood stopped all the way until day 27. So how many days now? Day 27 she saw blood again. In between all clean. So we take 28 we minus 10. 18 days. Correct or not? It's about 18 days. So now this is no blood. How many days no blood? 18 days. 18 days more than 15 days. On the day 28 she saw blood all the way until day 30. What is this blood? Do we say this blood nifas or not nifas? If it is not nifas, then what is it? So since it is more than 15 days, the blood that comes out, this is hayd. As long as the blood is more than 24 hours, that's what we mentioned before this. All the rulings in your hayd. The blood is more than 24 hours, less than 15 days, this is considered to be hayd. This is where some women become confused because they thought that nifas should be 40 days. Now this is only within 30 days. All this is within one. Within 30 days. But our fuqaha mentioned most cases how many days? 40 days. Our fuqaha mentioned most cases 40 days. All this happening within 30 days. Doesn't matter. As long as the number of clean days is more than 15 days, the second blood that comes is menses and not nifas. So I hope it is clear, inshallah. So there is any difference between nifas and menses. There are difference. The difference is that, and with regard to menses, it cannot be more than 15 days. It must be less than 15 days. Anything that is above 15 days is considered to be mustahada. But with regard to nifas, it can go all the way up to 60 days. We say all of it in nifas, as long as the interval, the purity in between two blood is less than 15 days, we consider it to be nifas. And it can go to how many days? It can go up to 60 days. But if we say it is menses, the second blood is menses, anything that is more than 15 days is considered to be istihada. Anything that is less than 15 days is considered to be menses. Because now, once we achieve 15 days purity after nifas, then there is no nifas. Because the blood that comes after that, it will be either menses of damul fasad or istihada. Clear, inshallah. So nifas again, minimum is a moment, most cases 40 days, and maximum is 60 days. Another misunderstanding that some women, and this mentioned by Sheikh Taha, our teacher. Some women they thought that as long as the blood has not reached 40 days, they cannot perform the bath. And some woman, for example, she gave birth. And then she saw blood all the way for 20 days, for example, 20 days. After 20 days, the blood stopped. Some women have this misunderstanding because she said that my mother nifas 40 days, my grandmother 40 days. So I also must wait for 40 days. So the blood stopped for 20 days, but she did not perform any prayers or fasting. She waited for another 20 days until the blood until 40 days. Then only she performed the obligatory bath. Despite there is no blood after 20 days. This is a misunderstanding because some women thought that the first 40 days, regardless whether you see blood or no blood, you cannot fast and you cannot pray. So you might be thinking, is there such misunderstanding? Yes, and in our society, there are people who think like that. So this is the thing that we have to know. The moment that the blood stop, she should bathe the obligatory bath because there is a possibility the nifas stop. There is a possibility that the nifas does not stop. You do not know. But then you bathe the obligatory bath as a precaution. There is a possibility that the blood has stopped. But if the blood comes back, then we have to see whether the blood comes in less than 15 days interval or after 15 days. If it is less than 15 days, then what happened? We say this is still nifas. This is still nifas. So you have to make qada for your fasting. But after 15 days, then this is menses. Do you have to make qada for the fasting? No, because that 15 days interval is not considered to be nifas. Can you see the difference? That 15 days is not considered to be nifas because it turns out that it is more than 15 days of clean days. So it is clean days. So if she does not perform the prayer, must she make qada? This is an important question. So let us go back to the chart again. So now we go back to the same example. A woman delivered a child on the first, all the way until 10 she saw blood. Correct, no? She saw blood. From the 11 to 28 to end of 27, no blood, pure days. Then on the 28 for 3 days she saw blood. So we say this is height, correct, no? So 11, 12, 13, all the way until 27, these are pure days. She assumed that this is within nifas. So she does not perform. If she doesn't perform the prayer, doesn't perform the fasting, she has to make up for the prayer and fasting from the 11 all the way to 27. All the way to 27. But by right, once it exceeds 15 days, she has to make up already. Because now it's confirmed If the period days any has reached any 15 days, now it is confirmed any that this is not any part of Nifas. So when does she gets into confirmation that it is 15 days? So we have to count. If she say that on the 10 and the blood and it stop. So 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is on the day 25. This is a cap. So if the blood and it doesn't come back all the way until 25, then khalas, and if we say the nifas any has stopped. So she has any to make up any for all this from the 11 and all the way to 25. 26 and 27 and she has any to perform any prayers any as per normal. If the blood any comes back any on 28, then we say that this is menses. This is menses. Yani again, yani she has any to stop fasting and also yani the prayers. I hope any it is clear any inshallah. So now any we continue. Then the author yani mentioned wa yahrumu bil haidi wan nifasi ma yahrumu bil janabah. Whatever any that is haram any for a woman any in menses, haram any for a woman any in postnatal bleeding, nifas. In English and we call it the postnatal bleeding. So what are the things any that is haram any for a woman in hayd? Number 1, she cannot perform any of the prayers. Number 1. Number 2, no tawaf. Number 3, she cannot any touch any of the mushaf. Number 4, she cannot carry the mushaf. Number 5, she cannot enter any of the mosque. Number 6, she cannot recite the Quran. So these are number 6. Number 7, the husband any cannot any incur divorce. Talaq any is haram, but the divorce any occurs. But it's haram, and if the husband knows any that the wife any is having menses, he cannot any incur any divorce. This is number 7. It is haram any also any for the husband any to have sexual any intimacy with anything that is between the navel any and the knees. This is any number. This is any number 8. It is also haram any sexual any intercourse. Number 9. Then lastly, it is prohibited yani to pass through any a mosque if she fears any contamination. So there is a difference any entering any a mosque and passing through a mosque. It is haram any for her to enter a mosque, enter any for the sake any of to be inside the mosque. This is al-muks. But it is permissible for her to pass through from one door to another door. But here it is also haram any for her to pass through if she fears that she might contaminate the mosque. Yani if the blood any can spill, then it is haram any for her to pass through any mosque. So these are the 10 things any that is haram any for her, and this is mentioned in Safinatul Najah. In Umdah yani what do you call it? It is mentioned any I think for the most part of it. If you see any on the poster any, the acts any prohibited during menstruation and nifas. So all acts prohibited in the state of janaba. State of janaba, we have 6. The 6. What are the 6? Prayers. Doing the tawaf, touching the mushaf, carrying the mushaf, entering the masjid with the intention of being in the masjid. And number 6 is what? Number 6 any is recitation any of the Quran with the intention of recitation. So these are the 6 for the junub. With regard any to the menses, and we had another 4. Sexual any intercourse, that's what we see here. Sexual any intercourse prohibited to pass through a mosque if she fears she may contaminate it. Then we have intimacy, enjoyment of the area between the navel and the knees. Divorce is also any prohibited. Performing any purification with the intention of lifting ritual impurity is haram for her yani to perform the obligatory bath while she is in a state of menses, because this is any ibadah, and this is any not valid, and it is haram for her yani to do it intentionally. Likewise, any taking wudu for the sake any of what? removing any ritual, any impurity. This is not any permissible. So the author yani mentioned wakaza as-sawm. It is not any permissible for her to fast. Yeah, this is part any of the prohibition. It is not permissible for her to fast. وَيَجِبُ قَضَاؤُهُ دُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. It is compulsory for her to make up any for the fasting and not any for the prayers, based on the hadith of Aisha in Sahih Muslim. When she asked any the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so the Prophet any mentioned that she has to make up any for the fasting and not any the prayers. وَيَحْرُمُ عُبُورُ الْمَسْجِدِ. And it is not permissible for her to make up for the prayers. This is another thing. If a woman say that I want to make up any for the prayer, in our madhab, it is not permissible. It is not any permissible to make up any for the prayer. With regard any to fasting of month of Ramadan, it is wajib any for her to make up, based on the hadith. وَيَحْرُمُ عُبُورُ الْمَسْجِدِ. That's what we mentioned earlier. It is not permissible for her to walk through a mosque, pass through. In خَافَتْ تَلْوِيسَهُ. If she fear, she may contaminate the masjid. وَالْوَطُءُ. Sexual intercourse, not permissible. وَالْإِسْتِمْتَاعُ. Intimacy. فِيمَا بَيْنَ السُّرَةِ وَالرُّكْبَةِ. Anything that is between the navel and the knee. There can be no touching any between the navel and the knee, and all sorts any of forms any of intimacy. What talaq? Divorce is not permissible. This called any in fiqh, we call it talaq bid'i. Talaq bid'i. Yani when a husband divorce any the wife, when the wife any is instead any of menses. This is haram. It is called talaq bid'i. But any the talaq any occur. Talaq any occur. Wa taharatu bi niyyati rafil hadath. It is not any permissible for her to perform the wudu or bathe the obligatory bath by having any the intention nawaitu rafal hadath al asghar or nawaitu rafal hadath al akbar. She make any the intention to leave the impurity. This is not any permissible because she is any in a state of impure. Then the author mentioned this haram any for her any to do it. There is some women any even in these things any they do not know. I know any of people any who take wudu when they have menses. When they have menses any day, they take any wudu. Some people, for example, any they have this they have a good habit any of every time any know the wudu becomes nullified, they will take any ablution. It is a sunnah. But when a person in a state of menses, it is not any a sunnah any to take any ablution. Because there is a contradiction. A person in a state of impurity and that the wudu any is not valid, but yet any she takes any wudu. This is not any permissible. فَإِنْ قَطَعَ الدَّمُ إِرْتَفَعَ تَحْرِيمُ الصَّوْمِ وَالطَّلَاقِ وَالطَّهَارَةِ وَعُبُورِ الْمَسْجِدِ. So then the author yani mentioned, if the blood any stops, إِرْتَفَعَ تَحْرِيمُ الصَّوْمِ, she can straight away fast. For example, yani 5 minutes before Fajr. 5 minutes before Fajr, the blood any stop. Can she make the intention of fasting for the day? She hasn't bathed the obligatory bath. This also any a popular question. Any people ask. I repeat the question. And in Ramadan, people ask this question. A woman, and for example, in the beginning of Ramadan, she has menses. Then on the 5th day of Ramadan, 5 minutes any before Fajr, she woke up, and for example, before Fajr, and she saw that there is no more blood. And her norm any usually 5 days any menses. A norm, yani this is part of the norm. She saw no blood. 5 minutes any before Fajr. She can make any the intention any of fasting for Ramadan. And if the blood any stops, it turns out that the blood any stops, that the blood doesn't come back. The blood any does not return. The fasting any is valid. So it is not required any for her to bathe the obligatory bath first, then make the intention any before the coming any of Fajr. Some people any might think any you have to bathe the obligatory bath, then you make the intention for fasting before any Fajr any, then your fasting any is valid. That is not any the case. Meaning even the Fajr comes and she is in a state of Janaba. She hasn't bathed any the obligatory bath any for menses. But she has to make the intention before Fajr. This is important. Because what is important is tabiyat and niyyah in fasting. Chapter of fasting any we mentioned. that she has any to make any the intention of fasting any before Fajr, then the fasting any is valid. Likewise, any talaq, the husband any incur any talaq when the blood any stops. Now this is not any haram. What tahara wa ubur al masjid. Now any it is permissible any for her to bathe the obligatory bath. Tahara here, yani bathing any the obligatory bath and taking wudu, no issue. Because now any there is no more menses, so she can purify any herself. Wa ubur al masjid, and she can pass through any the mosque because there is no fear of contaminating it now. No more blood. Correct or not? Yani earlier yani we mentioned it is not permissible for her to pass through a mosque from one door to another door in khafa talwisahu. If she fears any, she may contaminate any the mosque. But now any there is no more blood, and now any the blood it stops, so she can pass through any the mosque. وَيَبْقَى الْبَاقِي حَتَّى تَغْتَسِلْ. But the rest any of the prohibitions will only will only cease once any she bathed the obligatory bath. Like what? Prayers any, for example. A woman stop any seeing blood. The blood any stops. 5 minutes any before Fajr. Can she pray Fajr? No, she cannot pray Fajr. She has to bathe first, correct? No? She has any to bathe the obligatory bath, then she prays any the Fajr. Likewise, any with regard any to tawaf, she cannot straight away do tawaf. She has any to bathe the obligatory bath, then she do any the tawaf. Likewise, with regard to carrying the mushaf, she has any to bathe first, then she carry the mushaf. Likewise, any recitation any of the Quran, she has any to perform the bathe first. Likewise, being in a mosque, the masjid, she has any to bathe first, then she can enter the mosque. Then any the author any mentioned وَلَوِ ادَّعَتِ الْحَيْضَ وَلَمْ يَقَعْ فِي قَلْبِهِ صِدْقُهَا حَلَّ لَهُ وَطْءُهَا. So now any the author any mentioned, now any the wife any, for example, tells any the husband that I still any have menses. The wife any inform any the husband that I still any have any menses. But the husband any, when the husband know that there is no more blood, and the husband and he feels any that the wife has a misunderstanding. Sometimes there is a misunderstanding between husband and wife and with regard to menses. The wife says that no, my menses is still here. The husband says no, your menses already stopped. So the question is, can the husband do sexual any intercourse any in this situation? The answer any is yes, if the husband and he feels that there is no more menses. The husband and he looks any at the situation, no more blood. So no more blood any, no more any menses. So it is permissible any for the husband any to take it any as that there is no more menses. So this is what any the author any mentioned, halla lahu wat'uha. So if the husband any does any sexual intercourse, do we say that is haram for the husband any to do sexual intercourse? The answer is that it is not any haram. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab. Inshallah, any next week and we speak any about istihada. So now any we look any other questions and inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. If the lady has variable number of days of menses every month, how long does she wait after the last brown discharge to start any praying? So if every month she has this intermittent number any of days, so always any go back any to her norm. How many days any usually? So if she says any, for example, within 12 days, so she wait any all the way until 12 days. So she follow her norm. After 12 days any, then she bathe the obligatory bath. After any the blood any has stopped, so go back any to the norm. Tamam. Second question is asking, I'm confused how to quantify the 24 hours of menses. Do I need to check my blood flow constantly every hour? But there's no flow, but only show. It is not any about blood flow. It is the presence any of blood. If the presence any of blood exceed 24 hours, this is the thing. If the presence any of blood wetness, if the presence of wetness exceeds 24 hours, it is menses. If it does not exist 24 hours, it is not menses. So it is not any about blood flow, it is wetness. Huh? Aywa. If I stop praying when blood comes out, but doing any the clean days any within, if I stop praying when blood comes out, but doing the clean days within the 15 days, do I pray? No, this is considered to be menses. This is considered to be menses. Unless if you are not sure and you perform the obligatory bath after your blood stop, then you perform your prayers. After 3 days, the blood comes out again. Now it turns out that this is part of menses. So that is why the first question earlier asked, how do I ascertain? Yani you go back to your norm. Yani normally every month, how many days in your menses? If your norm is 14 days, some days blood, some days no blood, some days blood, all the way until 14 days. Then you wait all the way until 14 days. So for the whole 14 days, it's menses. So you do not perform any your prayers, nor you perform any fasting for that period, because you know that your norm is within that 14 days. But just in case if sometimes it breaks the norm, only for the first 3 days the blood comes out. Then all the way until the rest of the month there is no blood. Then it turns out then it is not any menses, then you have to make up for your prayers and your fasting. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. You mentioned that if woman has a menses, she can't read the Quran. Does this include reading the Quran from an app? Yes. In the Mazhab Imam Shafi'i, it is not permissible to read the Quran. Whether you read the Quran from the app or you read the Quran from the Mus'haf, or you read the Quran from memorization, it is not permissible. Unless you read the Quran for the sake of protection. Like you read Wirul Latif every day. Why you read Wirul Latif? In Wirul Latif you have the Quran, right? Wirul Latif, we have Ayatul Kursi. We have Law Anzalna Hadha Quran ala Jabal Ayatahu. All this is for the sake of tahsin. This is permissible. The second thing, if you read the Quran for dhikr, you go up the bus, you say Subhanalladhi sakhkhara lana hadha wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. This is permissible, even though you have menses, because you are reciting Quran not for the sake of Quran, for the sake of dhikrullah. Other than these two, it is not permissible. In the mazhab of Al-Imam Shafi'i, although there are differences, we have other mazhab. Aywa. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. If my normal discharge color outside of the 15 days. Okay, outside of 15 days, this is a istihada already. Yeah? We haven't spoke about istihada yet. But never mind, we look at this question. If my normal discharge color outside of 15 days head has been light yellow, does that mean I'm in the istihada category? Yes. In the Mu'tamad of Imam Shafi'i, as what we mentioned, this is istihada. Because more than 15 days. Does this mean for having intercourse with husband, we will have to wait until after 15 days and to be safe? Not necessary, because istihada is not hayd. Istihada is not considered to be hayd. Clear inshallah? Istihada in English it is a term called chronic vaginal discharge. It is blood that comes out after 15 days. It is not considered to be menses. So the ruling is not the same as menses. As usually, I will mandi hadas when the discharge is light yellow. Usually in discharge color, though it may be less than 15 days. Light yellow for the one who is asking the question. As what the author mentioned in Umdatusaalik. This is menses. Okay. So bathing the obligatory bath while a person saw light yellow is not valid. Why? Because light yellow is still part of menses. This is where the author of Umdah says, "Was-sufratu wal-qudratu haydun." And if you go back into the text, this is what the author mentioned, "Was-sufratu wal-qudratu haydun." And I mentioned that this is the mu'tamad in the mazhab al-Imam Shafi'i. It is not any permissible any to take light yellow any as not menses unless in emergency cases. Like if a person wants to do the tawaf and the group wants to leave Makkah tomorrow, and she saw the woman, and for example, is towards the end of the menses, she saw light yellow. In this situation, khalas, and we say take the opinion, the contrary any opinion, and that says in light yellow and it's not menses. So she bathed the obligatory bath and quickly do the tawaf. Tamam? This is in emergency any cases. But in normal cases, if you are in your country and then you see any light yellow, it is not any permissible any for you to bathe the obligatory bath. Clear inshallah. But here the question is asking the light yellow is after 15 days, then confirm and it is not any menses. If it is after 15 days, clear inshallah, it is not considered to be menses. No, happen again. You decide, less than 15 days. So I hope it is clear inshallah. Next, if the red blood comes in for 5 days followed by yellow discharge for another 6 days, after the yellow discharge stop until the next cycle starts, does she bathe the obligatory bath after the yellow discharge or the red blood stop? So now we have to do the calculation. 5 plus 6, how many? 5 days of red blood and 6 days of yellow. 5 plus 6, 11. 11 is within the 15 days. Yes, it is menses. So she can only bathe the obligatory bath after the yellow blood stops completely. No blood. Then she bathe the obligatory bath. Aywa. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. If a lady menses red in color first day until 19th day, showing red, and on the 20th it stops showing red. So shall she start bathe and salat on the 16th day, because 16 onwards is istihada? And for previous period during the normal menses, the duration varies and no standard period duration of menses day. And for naga, when shall it start to count? On the 16th or on the 20th? Okay. Now, and it is a question about istihada. A woman and he saw 19 days and a red color. 19 days. So this confirmed is more than 15 days. Now the ruling of istihada any comes in. The ruling of istihada only comes if the blood any exceeds 15 days. Remember this. Maybe you want to write this down. Everybody who are following, do not any be confused with this, because some women any confused. They thought that even within 15 days also there is istihada. Within 15 days, no istihada. Clear inshallah. If a woman saw blood within 15 days, we say all of it are menses, no issue. Regardless whether it is red, any or yellow or brown. All of it are menses within 15 days. But if anything that is more than 15 days, in this situation, how many days? And she says 19 days, red color. Now we have to ask this person a question. Does she has menses before? Or is it the first time having menses? So now she's saying that this woman has menses before. She has previous period during the normal menses. But she says that the duration varies. The duration varies. So we ask how many days is that? How many days is the duration? How many days is the duration? So for example, a woman has been seeing blood monthly, sometimes 6 days, sometimes 7 days. Sometimes 6 days, sometimes 8 days. So the menses is within 6 to 8 days. Within the range. So we say that anything that is above this duration is considered to be istihada. If the color of the blood is the same. Now the color of the blood all the way is red color. So we cannot differentiate the color of the blood. All the way is red color. Is there a possibility that we differentiate the heat of the blood? Although it is red in color, but sometimes the heat differs. Can we differentiate the heat or we cannot differentiate the heat? If we can differentiate the heat, for example, the first any 5 days or the first any 3 days, for example, it is hot. Then it is not hot all the way until 19 days. So we say the first 3 days any is menses, the rest any is istihada. But if the heat any is the same, then we go back any to the norm. So if she says any 6 any to 8 days, we say the heat any is between the period of 6 any to 8 days. Above any the 8 days, we consider any to be istihada. Clear, inshallah? And for previous period during the normal any menses, the duration varies and no standard period duration of menses day. And for Naga, where you start any to count on the 16th or 20th. It is not any on the 16th. It goes back any to the norm. That's what we mentioned. If she say that the norm any is 7 days, then from the 8 onwards in istihada. So she has any to make up the prayers and fasting from the 8 days onwards. From the 8 days any onwards. Clear, inshallah. The next question is asking how can the husband know better than the wife is having menses any or not. All goes back any to that if the blood any is no more present. If the blood any is no more present. So now any the wife any has menses. And the blood any stops. The blood stops. When the husband any know any that there is no more blood, the husband any assumes any then the menses any has stopped. Because any this any based any on the outward any situation. Any outwardly any we say that this normally the wife any menses any for 6 days, after 6 days the blood any has stopped. So it is permissible any for the husband any to take any the norm, and what is apparent? That there is no more blood. Meaning if he does any sexual intercourse, he is not any sinful. Because that is any the norm and there is no presence any of blood. With regard any to the wife saying that there is a possibility, this is just any an opinion. Because here there is a possibility that the menses any has stopped, there is a possibility that the menses does not stop. But here any the issue that the author is trying any to say is sexual intercourse permissible in this situation? If there is any a possibility, then the menses has stopped and a possibility that the menses may come back. As long as it is within any possibility, sexual any intercourse any is permissible. This one the author is saying. Clear, inshallah. Meaning even if after the blood any comes back, the husband is not sinful any for the sexual intercourse. Now, do the woman need to perform the obligatory bath after the blood stop before the husband has sexual intercourse? Yes. She has any to perform the obligatory bath. Now, last question. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Sometimes when women are late in their cycle, the blood days may also be prolonged. So we ignore the prolonged period and bathe on 16th day. How is this? Sometimes when women are late in their cycle, the blood days may also be prolonged. Yani, a woman saw blood for many days and she doesn't know when the blood will stop. So she assumes it as menses. First day, second day, third day, the blood continue. Fourth day, all the way until day 14. All these are menses, correct or not? So she assumes that the blood will stop before 15. But the blood continues all the way until 16. This is how I understand this question. So the woman is asking when should she bathe? If the blood turns out that it exceeds 15 days. Now this is istihada. Meaning not all of the blood is considered to be menses. So she should go back to her norm. Normally how many days menses? Second question is, can she differentiate the color of the blood? All this inshallah next week we will speak about istihada, and I will explain about how to differentiate. If she can differentiate the color of the blood, she goes back to the color. If she cannot differentiate the color of the blood, then she go back to her norm. So normally, how many days any of menses? If she said that every month 6 days, but this month 16 days. So we go back any to day number 6. We say the first 6 days any is your menses. The rest any is considered to be istihada. Wallahu a'lam bis-shawab. Rabbana taqabbal du'ana innaka sami'un 'alim tub 'alaina innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.